There is currently about 300 million people that live in the United States. 70% of those people do not have confidence or know how to perform CPR. The 30% that remain does not exclude those that work in a healthcare facility. So people that know how to perform a basic life-saving maneuver aren't just wandering about. We need more people to learn how to perform CPR specifically. According to the American Heart Association, about every 40 seconds, someone suffers from a heart attack. Without any assistance, that person has a survivability of 2%. Performing adequate CPR can raise their chance of survival to 30 to 40%. There is no downside to learning how to perform CPR. According to CPR Training Company, it only takes a couple hours online and costs about $20 to become certified. After your certification, you can then go on and to educate others on how to perform CPR. Now you may be wondering, what if I do something that may make the situation worse or it doesn't work? This is why the Good Samaritan Law, according to the Washington State Legislature, the Good Samaritan Law, spelled all the way out, is immunity from liability for certain types of medical care. Now this protects you if you end up doing more damage, but it's at the expense of saving the person's life. When I personally went through the CPR course, they told me to be a lot more forceful when I was doing my chest compressions. And I was just like, oh, okay. And then when I was performing it, it was just like, if you don't crack a rib or that person wakes up and they're not in pain, you're probably not performing it correctly. So it is okay for that person to be hurt if you're performing adequate CPR. And then they told me that a lot of issues with people, just random people trying to perform CPR, is that they'll do the wrong hand placement, or they won't have the right rhythm, or have the correct amount of force when doing chest compressions. It should tire you because you have to realize that you are trying to pump blood throughout an entire person's body. I am about 6'3" and I weigh like 220 pounds. So that's why when performing CPR, the person that actually knows how to do it will usually grab 2 or 3 more people. One, when you learn CPR is just to stall for the AED. The AED is what actually, I don't want to say saves the life, but it increases the likelihood of them coming back to us. I forgot the term for that, but I think it was spontaneous respirations. And when you go through the CPR training course, well, when I went through it, you learn that you should continue to do CPR even if it looks like the person is breathing, because there is a thing called agonal breaths, in which the person may look like as they're breathing, but they're not obtaining oxygen. This is why more people need to become CPR certified, because so many people are just so used to just watching Grey's Anatomy and just be like, oh, I know I can definitely do that, because I was one of those people, because I was like, maybe I'm going to learn something. But although it does provide a good example, it doesn't really back the details and the science behind them performing those actions. And that's where people kind of get lost. Because when you go through CPR training, you understand the reasons for you doing such actions. Now, you notice how I said CPR is not like the main life-saving thing. It's trying to get the AED onto the person. CPR is just a stall for the AED and the paramedics to come, or any transportation to a medical facility. Now, when you do get your certification, you can teach others how to perform the same thing. Just because you are not certified in CPR does not mean that you can't do it. I'm going to say again, the Good Samaritan Law protects you from most drawbacks from performing it. Because you have to realize that the Good Samaritan Law will not protect you if you just do something completely off the wall, such as if you're performing CPR and you're just pushing down on their stomach, you will be charged with negligence. And that's where I think some of the hesitation from people not wanting to do CPR is because of this, because of legal issues. Even though the Good Samaritan Law covers a lot, it's very in general. Because when I read through it, it was very general. It didn't say anything specific. It was just like, If you just follow your moral compass, you'll know that some things are within limits. Now, after Surefire CPR also exclaimed that if you know how to do CPR, you will gain more value in workplace environments, as you knowing that basic life-saving maneuver brings like a great sense of security to the office. So please become CPR certified to bring down that 70%. In doing so, you will increase the likelihood of people surviving from drownings, heart attacks, cardiac arrests, or any other events that may require CPR. So there is no downside to being certified. It only just credifies your acts to save somebody's life.